Hello and welcome back to the cooking show. Lastly, we will demonstrate the stuff we didn't put on the cookie cake because it wasn't requested by the customer. But first off, the reason why it's called a unit circle is because each circle has a radius of 1 because of the points of just 1. So right here the point is 1, 0. The point right here is 0, 1. The point right here is negative 1, 0. And lastly, the point down here is 0, negative 1. Because of this, each circle has a radius of 1, at least 1, and it's only that way for sure. But now, going on to each degree, they each have a specific radian. So for the 30-degree angle, right here, it has a radian of pi over 6. On the 45-degree angle, it has a radian of pi over 4. On the 60-degree angle, it has a radian of pi over 3. And lastly, up here, on the y-axis, it has a radian of pi over 2. Now, once we move on into the second quadrant, the 60-degree angle in the second quadrant has a radian of 2 pi over 3. The 45-degree angle, or in this case, the 135-degree angle, has a radian of 3 pi over 4. And lastly, the 150-degree angle has a radian of 5 pi over 6. And on the x-axis, on the left side of the x-axis, the radian is just pi. And when we continue on to the 210 degrees, or in this case, the 30-degree angle in the third quadrant, the radian is 7 pi over 6. The 45-degree angle, or in this quadrant, is 225. The radian is 4 pi over 3. 5 pi over 4. And lastly, the 60-degree angle, or in this specific quadrant, the radian is 4 pi over 3 with a degree of 225 degrees. And on the y-axis at the very bottom, it has a radian of 3 pi over 2. And lastly, as we move on into the fourth quadrant, we begin to see the pattern that it creates. And for this specific 60-degree angle in the fourth quadrant of 300 degrees, the radian is 5 pi over 3. The 45-degree angle, or the 315-degree angle in the fourth quadrant, has 7 pi over 4. And lastly, the 30-degree angle in the fourth quadrant, or in this case, the 330-degree angle, has a radian of 11 pi over 6. The way the mathematicians got this was because they realized that each one was 2 pi over 12. And so once you reduce all of this, you end up it counts all the way up to 24. Because the reason being is that each one increases by 15 degrees. But we don't consider the fact of the 15 degrees that goes right here and the 15 degrees that goes right here. So once you go around the unit circle and reduce each one, that's how you get the radians for each degree. Thank you.